you're running for office, you should have at least one good friend.
Surprised you had that many.
I didn't say it was a friend, I just didn't know each other.
Okay. Okay, it is Tuesday, March 12th, 5 p.m., and this is the regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting of Lorain County. So may we all rise and respect the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Riddell.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Hung. Under resolutions, number 1, investments.
Oh,
To approve.
second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 2, appropriations.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 3, transfers.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 4, advances, repayments. There were none. Number 5, requisitions.
Page 1 of 2, this is. Can we have page 2?
Move to approve pages 1 and 2.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 6, travel. There were none. Number 7, bills.
We have 5 pages today.
Yes. But congratulations again to Casey and crew that we have the print large enough. We don't have to make the back row run up to the front TV. Page 2. Those are the general fund. Page 3, please. Page 4. And page 5.
Move to approve pages 1 through 5.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 8, county commissioners may recess an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, along with any other matters specifically identified by motion in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G 1 through 8, unless expressly stated otherwise during executive session. Matters discussed in executive session are designated by the county commissioners as confidential because of the confidentiality of such matters is necessary for the proper conduct of government business. Any disclosure outside of executive session is prohibited by Ohio Revised Code 102.03B. While in executive session, the county commissioners may discuss and deliberate on the matters at issue, but no votes may be taken until open session resumes.
Move to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
E, public comment on agenda items.
Okay. As you noted, we have not scheduled a executive session for tonight. Rudy, we're going to ask you to hold off until we bring up the resolution, okay? And let's see, it looks like Brian Baker, you were first on agenda number 11.
You want to read item number 11, Brian, before you want us to read it for you?
No, I know what it is.
Okay. I know you know what it is.
Unless you want it for the public. I mean, it's okay if you want to read it for the public, that's fine. Brian Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive, Brownhelm Township. I guess I thank you guys for moving forward with this $927,000 grant. Maybe just a little bit of clarification before you get done. I thought that, and hopefully it is there still a 20% in this that's for food allowance? Okay, so if someone were to use that, do they have to go to Office on Aging to like contact them to apply for this, since this is through Office on Aging?
Yes.
Can we get the contact person who that is? Because I'm involved with 2 food banks that I know are interested in doing this. One would be the one in Grafton and one in Elyria.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
There's quite a few that they work.
you're lucky because Nicole is here tonight.
Okay,
So all we have to do, she's
All right.
waving her hand at you.
all right. After
Consider
the meeting, I
yourself
will-
introduced.
All right, well, after the meeting, I will get that. But
Now,
again,
Brian,
thank you
is
for
that
moving
service or
forward.
what?
It's the first time, Jeff.
Is that the only?
No. We also have Mike Sherman on item number 19.
Thank you, Commissioners. Mike Sherman, Eaton Township. I had the same questions on number 11, and I'm glad the director's here. I had spoken with her over at the office, and my only question was, when it said sub-grant, was that the entire 927, or is it just a portion of that 927?
We're making a sub-grant to the Office on Aging.
In the full amount?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What I wanted to ask about is number 19, the capital funding award from the Ohio Department of Rehab and Correction in the amount of $190,912 and change for the replacement of defective existing central sprinklers. Because this is a replacement of existing, I believe the threshold is $75,000, not $250,000, so I believe that will be going out for bid.
Correct.
Yes? Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President?
Yes.
To follow up on Mr. Sherman's comments.
Wow.
It's
Whoa.
like I'm giving a press conference here.
Walter Cronkite, here we go.
So we have some tentative bid dates for that. Mr. Dan Gross has been working with the administration out of the jail. And right now, we're proposing that we're going to advertise March 25th and April 1st with a pre-bid meeting scheduled for April 17th. Bids would be due May 2nd. Potential work start date, July 8th, with a completion date of about October 7th. So we're finalizing
Thank
those
you, Karen.
dates.
Mike, did you get those dates?
March 29th,
25th, Mike,
25th.
25th?
that would be the first date.
And how long have those sprinkler systems been recalled? Has it been, what,
It's been
decade?
about 25 years.
That's what I thought. So we're not kicking the can down the road, I take it?
No, we're,
Thank you.
No.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Yeah.
we've got the funds
No,
available. We're gonna move
recognizing the emergency and the safety for the staff as well as the
Participants, I think. they call them.
participants.
Inmates.
I call them inmates. That may not be politically correct anymore. But, for the safety of everyone in the building, we already had the specifications drawn in order to apply for the grant. So we're going right to bid.
Which unfortunately is, we're gonna be also talking about a new jail, so we're spending a lot of money. But we gotta do it, so.
Got
Okay.
to-
Okay.
Is that it?
Is there,
Is that it?
on public
That's-
comment?
That's for the public comment.
What time? And then we got Rudy for,
When we
We'll
get to number
we'll
12.
bring him up when we get to it. Old business,
Right. Is there any old business? No?
yeah, I
Yes?
think we do.
yes, we do. Okay, Victor, there you go. What you see before you is a summary of the general financial health of the county. And I'll run down that quickly. Tonight, we were going to have some conversation. We're going to present the information in the furtherance of public involvement, but we're going to suspend the further action until we have a full board. Because this is essentially the most important thing that we commissioners do, and it should be done when there's a full board. And unfortunately, tonight, due to illness, we do not have that. So, but this was prepared by our budget department, and it gives you a recap of the 23 revenue and the 23 expenses. You'll see the numbers of those, and they're fairly approximate. Then we also have the forecast for 94. We have a delineation of the investments we've made. We have the carryover. We have the remaining ARPA money left to do. So in general, the county's in excellent financial shape. We can thank the ARPA money for our inflation, but here in Lorain County, we can also thank the ARPA money for funding many of the one-time things that we needed to move the county forward. So secondly, Victor, this is the general fund budget. You'll see that it shows the 23 approved budget, the 23 actual expenses. We underspent, there are 2 pages to this. So this is the top half of the graph, and the 2024 requested budget. And then in the last column, it shows the differences between the 24 request and the 23 actual. This year, we changed our budgeting process with the help of, with Casey Saunders, and instead of just benchmarking off of the last 5 years of requests, we actually benchmarked off of the last 5 years of expenses. So that we're not dealing, with all that stuff like we asked for money, but we didn't use it, or we were gonna fill 2 jobs, but we didn't, or we were gonna buy a new car, but we didn't. We're actually going off of expenditures and trying to get everybody accustomed to a zero-based budget. And for 2025, I'll let Dave explain and Casey the process that we're going to do. But wanted to show this is the top half of that graph. Can you show the bottom half? There we go. And the numbers at the bottom show you the 23 above budget was 75 million? Okay. 75 million, and the actual expenses were 78. And then the 24 requested budget is 84, 84 million. So we've got quite a big difference in jump. There are a lot of one-time expenditures in this budget. And so what we will be doing is using some of the ARPA money to bridge the gap between the 78 million. We expect that number to be slightly higher for 24. One of the beneficiaries of inflation is the county, because we charge sales tax. So if something costs $1.20 instead of $1, we generate more sales tax. So we expect to have a modest bump in the sales tax revenue for 24. And we're over budget to our general fund revenue, but we're going to be using the last of the ARPA money. 2024 is the last year for ARPA money. And so we're going to use that, and essentially we will be agreeing with each of the department heads and the electeds. They had an original request in July. There were some modifications to that in conversation, and the commissioners will be funding the ask for each department. So public hearings to negotiate are not going to be necessary, because we're going to be funding everyone's ask. And what we're doing is putting that out for the public to digest and try and get an understanding of where their money goes. Commissioner?
You just said everything, so I'm like, you wanna go, Vic, you go back to the first page, page 1. For example, what's been going on is, as we, over the years, they basically just did a budget, and people would base it all on what they're asked for. What we're doing is, like Commissioner Riddell said, we took a look at what the actual spent was. And a lot of expenses are incurred by this board and not equally divided out between each and every department. For example, healthcare, it's part of our budget. So I think, Casey, about the end of this past year, the last quarter, I believe we came up with a new formula on how to calculate what we're gonna be looking for when it comes to each and every elected official's budget, every department's budget. And we felt that maybe that implementation in November was not fair to everybody. And so now that we went through this, I guess you went through it with a lot of the departments, and change is something people are not accustomed to, I would say. And we also learned in the process that some of our elected officials may be weak in what we were looking for. So we're hoping now that as we got closer and closer to itemize each and every budget, instead of saying, and I had this at Solid Waste Department, was at a meeting, they had, everything was identified except they had $3 million, I'm just using that number. It was such a large number in the budget that said miscellaneous. I said, that's unacceptable. I want more details on miscellaneous expenditures. And so what we're gonna be doing for 2025's budget, which is starting now, pretty much for next year, pretty much, right? Yeah, Casey's shaking his head, right? Is not warning everybody, but showing everybody and teaching them on what we are looking to do. And this is a big policy change. We're gonna be able to identify everybody's expenditures and what they need. Doesn't mean we're not gonna fund everything when it comes to the end of 2025. It just means we're gonna now know if you're short, where you're short and where you miscalculated. So if you miscalculated because you ended up, let's say, not hiring enough employees, or maybe you hired enough employees, but they took maybe a more expensive healthcare instead of the cheaper healthcare, and maybe you're off by only $50,000. We will be able to identify next year where you're short and where you're not short and why. We really can't do that right now. We're pretty much trusting each and everybody that they're doing their budget, they know what they're doing, and if they're short, then they come back to us and there's no real debate. Now we'll be able to identify on an expenditure basis on what they're spending and where they're short and why they're short. So I think a lot of new accountability is gonna be coming to our county as we process this new system of budgeting. It's not exciting, but this is what we do. We are the budget authority, and we are going to try to get to like a net zero budget, where once everybody knows what they're spending, not what their wish list is, what they're spending, then we can zero in on, as we go into the future, there won't be any more ARPA funds to fill some of these gaps. So we are being proactive in ensuring that the county is gonna be fiscally responsible without raising any taxes. So that's kind of what the delay was from December. We asked for a first quarter, at least let us get everybody lined up. Casey and his team worked with everybody else's teams. I think you did a great job, and I appreciate what you did. So, does Casey want to add anything, or no, you good?
You guys covered it.
Okay. Two items that I would draw your attention to that are new to the process. Capital improvements, you'll notice that the 2023 budget was zero, but we ended up with the use of, with ARPA money, of having $3 million in actual expenses. This year, for the first time, from what we can tell in decades, we're actually going to budget $2 million for capital expenditures. And we intend to, this to be available so that when grants and awards from the state or the feds come up for sewers or for, economic development, infrastructure, the county's going to need to know that they have budgeted some of the matching funds, so that when it's 20% local, 80% state, we now know that we have that $2 million, and potentially that will enable us to take $10 million in state and federal money and turn it into economic development for the county. The second one is that can you go back, Victor, to the first sheet?
Yes, right there.
No, the one before that. There we go. And if you look at the carryover, you'll see that we were able to increase the carryover, which again is another sign of a healthy, cash position. We were able to, even though we stayed within revenues, we grew the carryover by $1.5 million. So that was part of washing out some of those budget items that were funded, but they weren't spent. We've reallocated that money and took it to the carryover. So we welcome, you know how to get a hold of the commissioners. We welcome conversation, thoughts, questions that you may have on the budget, but this is the first that we're unveiling it. We will again have it on the agenda for Friday, and again, we have to get this approved before the end of the month, so we have 2 more meetings. Depending how things go Friday, we'll either vote and pass this on Friday, or if need be for further information, we can defer it to the following Tuesday and still make the deadline.
Yeah, I'd rather get it done this Friday, because I'm sure, the auditor would like to have a little leg room to get these funded, right? I mean, you're hearing that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like this done as soon as they can humanly get it done.
So they can move on.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, that was our old business.
Anything
that was
further?
our old business.
Okay. Board business 9, approve and waive the reading of the County Commissioners meeting minutes of March 1st and 5th.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Rendell?
Aye.
Number 10, accept a location rider to the existing national framework agreement for elevator maintenance and repair services with Krupp Elevator Corporation in the amount of $585 per month at the Lorain County Administration Building and will be paid from the account Common Cost Contractual Purchase Services.
Free.
Right? Ugh.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Rendell?
Aye.
Number 11, approve a sub-grant agreement with Lorain County Board of Commissioners, Lorain County Office on Aging for the Ohio Department of Aging Health Aging Grant in the amount of $927,000 to provide services to Lorain County seniors. These grant funds will be used to allow older Ohioans to remain in their homes and connected to their communities, preserve their personal assets, promote a healthy, independent, active lifestyle.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Okay, do we have Victor? There we go. Okay, Nicole,
Does she have anything to add? She's looking-
would you like to add to that? We've loaded up your outline. So, give the audience the Paul Harvey version.
And welcome to Lorain County.
Good evening. Thank you,
Our newest
Commissioners.
director.
Yes. Nicole Belmore Pierce, Lorain County Office on Aging. Lorain County Office on Aging, everyone knows it's been in existence for 50 years, and our mission is to provide support, resources, and advocacy for older adults to age successfully in Lorain County. Historically, we have been the designated lead agency for the county to plan, develop, and assist the aging population here. Funds from this Ohio Department of Aging Health Aging Grant are designed to be one-time dollars to support efforts to address social determinants of health, with a specific focus on enabling older adults to stay in their homes, maintain connections with their community, and foster a healthy, independent, and active life. This grant is required to be allocated to address housing, food assistance, and digital literacy at specified percentages. And the remaining 50% of the grant dollars are to be spent supporting local areas of concern relating to community conditions, healthy living, social connection, and preserving independence. In order to address these provisions, we have developed 10 objectives ranging from piloting a cross-county medical transport program to expansion of the home modification program. Given the limited time frame that we have to expend these funds and the one-time nature, we are cognizant of the importance of maintaining the flexibility to partner with additional agencies to spend the money to meet the needs of Lorain County's older adults. This reliance on collaboration and subject matter experts is the hallmark of Lorain County nonprofits and something that we are very proud to be part of at Lorain County Office on Aging. If you look at the budget, other areas of expenditure would support our existing Aging in Place program, including the Safe at Home modification program. We are receiving upwards of 80 calls a day for that program and have 200 vetted applications on our waiting list at this time. That program installs ramps, grab bars, handrails, showers, toilets, baths, walkway repairs, as well as our homemaking services, housekeeping, grocery shopping. Looking to support local social connectedness through the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, which works with over 200 volunteers in 40 stations across the county. As I mentioned, piloting a cross-county medical transportation program so we can access the clinic and UH Main campus facilities, which is something that's currently lacking here in the county. This would allow us to expand emergency pantry offerings of perishable goods, pilot a social work support services program to those who receive commodity supplemental food program boxes. We are very grateful for the opportunity to administer this grant and especially for the ability to support Lorain County older adults as they age in place, in the place they choose to call home.
Could you
Anything
give
else?
us a short overview of how you vet the applications? You know, what your criteria are?
Right, so A large portion of these funds will be spent by our agency, and we will partner with local nonprofits, civic-based organizations to vet the applications.
Well, for those that are listening though, what do they need to do to qualify?
For home modification, are you speaking
Yes.
specifically? Home modification?
That's the primary one.
Yep, primary, that is everybody's primary concern at this time. I know it keeps our phone ringing constantly. That is for low to moderate income seniors, so that is considered up to 300% of the federal poverty level. They must be the homeowner, so that we do not do modifications to rental properties. And from there, they just call the office and we are going and the order calls are received.
Cool.
Okay. When you
Further
came-
questions?
Yeah, you came in to meet with us and we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the fact that we said, well, could you get us a list? And you got it way too quick. It was like, well, we're gonna need it by Friday. You got it to us the next day.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate the efficiencies.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we needed somebody in there, and it was nice to get calls from your main headquarters downtown to say, you know, we're sorry, we finally got somebody, and you know, would you guys like to get $927,000? I said, yeah, that's a nice,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes,
So we appreciate the work you're doing.
thank you.
And you were here for a while. I mean, your story is you left Lorain County.
I left Lorain County. I've
How many
been
years?
just 2 years. That's all
Yeah.
I could take in Cuyahoga County before I wanted to come home.
Nicole, the second largest piece of this is the food assistance, and I understand that that's like a voucher program for
So we're going to
seniors to get
explore
out
the
to
restaurant
restaurants to get
voucher
them out.
program. We're also want to explore partnering with Neighborhood Alliance because they have the home delivered meals for folks who are in their homes, and that's something that we talked about after this was submitted to you with Neighborhood Alliance.
Okay. There is a restaurant voucher program
There
that's
is a
part of that?
restaurant voucher program we've operated for 16 years with Bread and Brew and Blue Sky in Amherst and Elyria that allows nutritionally at-risk seniors to dine within the community on a dietitian-approved menu.
Could we ask that you see if there isn't a quick way and still meet your deadlines, if we could expand that to more local restaurants?
Absolutely.
Okay? Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Speak on that because that wasn't, I didn't see the agenda before that came up. Can I speak again on that issue, Joe?
At the microphone? We'll give you a little leeway. Just don't abuse it, Michael.
Well, I just didn't see the agenda wasn't right.
Oh,
Brian.
Brian, sorry about that.
Mike's a good looking one.
Oh, Mike.
Oh,
Oh, good looking.
Well, Mike's
So I-
going for the single look.
So when this first came up, I think we came in here and we talked about food pantries being able to apply for some of this. And now what it seems like is that 20% is only going to be used for restaurant reimbursements and casework for it. Is that correct, according to what you
restaurant
just put there?
reimbursement as well as Meals on Wheels and so forth, but
Well, I know that's, I understand Meals on Wheels, but like you gotta realize a lot of these pantries, they're looking to purchase food that then is delivered by people like Office on Aging, so we actually deliver for Office on Aging. We also pick up food at Second Harvest Food Bank for them, free of charge, to do this, to try to stretch it out. There's other pantries around the county, which would be, I know the one is Table of Plenty at St. Agnes, they're always looking for extra food. When we talked first up here, that's what was talked about, being able to apply for this. And now I'm being told now we're only gonna use food vouchers. That doesn't help people in those neighborhoods that have to go apply for food vouchers. Really, they can pick up a box of food, and it goes a lot further than a food voucher does.
well,
So
Brian,
I don't know
yeah,
how
but
this works.
part of this is allowing the seniors to age well at home, but get out for social activity and so forth. So there's multi-dimensions here, but I appreciate you volunteering to work with Nicole to
Oh,
integrate.
I will. I will be finding out how this
Integrate the
works.
food bank and the other services.
The Neighborhood Alliance is the one that
Yeah,
they go out, because that's who really needs it, those that are shut in, those that don't get out.
Well,
you know?
that's what that Office on Aging actually does. We deliver that food for those people through Office on Aging.
Yeah.
So it's no different than that. So why aren't these food pantries being offered that money instead of a restaurant receiving something, which goes a lot less than what it goes by giving food to a pantry. So, but I'll reach out to Nicole and I'll find out what the answer is. I just don't think that's how it was explained when this
Well-
first grant came up.
Yeah, and I realize that you have your vision for how the money should be spent, but we're trying to massage dozens of social services into a network that doesn't compete with each other, they cooperate with each other.
And I don't disagree, but you actually took a whole portion of it completely out of the mix.
Well, the food bank has they
They
have
don't get
their-
it from the food bank. They can get it from other sources. And what I say is you just took
Right.
the pantries all out of the mix of being able to apply for extra funds. So, but I will deal with her
But
and we'll
again,
see
if
if we
you
can
let
get
me
it straightened
finish,
out.
our goal is to let the food bank, when it comes to food distribution for unprocessed food, is to them to be the hub, and we don't want other agencies competing with the food bank so that all of a sudden
don't.
you've got vendors and people that are donating and they don't know which way to go.
Well, I would say then that you might want to follow up with it, because what happens is with the money that Second or Office on Aging gets, they are able to use that extra money to purchase from the food bank, which in turn we go pick up. And then we deliver to the Office on Aging. No different than the pantries that are around this town. And they need extra food. So you're basically cutting them out of the mix,
We're not
Commissioners.
cutting anybody out of the mix.
Absolutely
We're providing
you
new
are.
services for those that are aging at home. So
Okay.
again, I look forward to a report from you and
Okay.
Nicole on how we're doing this.
All right, thanks.
Is there anything else?
Nope.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 12, consenting to support efforts to establish a seatbelt program for the county school district buses.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion.
Yes, we have.
Rudy, thank you for your patience.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I'm a citizen advocate for seatbelts in school buses with no commercial interests. I know that we all want the safest form of transportation for our children. Current Ohio school bus safety features are inadequate, and I use that word inadequate, to protect children fully. Every year in the U.S., 4 to 5 children are killed as passengers on school buses, and about 17,000 are injured. Today's resolution supports having protective seatbelts in school buses and demonstrates the leadership, courage, and compassion of Lorain County Commissioners, and I am grateful for their actions to protect children. 4 Ohio cities have produced similar resolutions, and 3 Ohio cities have purchased school buses with seatbelts. 11-year-old Aiden Clark, on his first day of school, was killed last August 21st in a school bus rollover tragedy. Every year, about 1,200 school bus crashes occur in Ohio, any one of which could be another tragedy. School buses are not safe if innocent children are routinely being killed and injured. Seatbelts stop children from being traumatized, injured, and killed in school bus accidents. Ohio school bus drivers have seatbelts since 1986, while cars have them since 1968. Common sense dictates and experience has shown that wearing seatbelts protects people in crashes, saving millions of lives worldwide. The effectiveness of seatbelts to prevent harm to children in school buses has been thoroughly evaluated, recommended, and promoted. The NTSB recommends seatbelts since children's protection is completely missing in school bus rollovers, side crashes, and spinouts. 12 other prominent and safety-oriented organizations, National Safety Council for one, also recommends seatbelts. Seatbelts decrease crash injuries as well as crash frequency, are low cost, less than 0.5% of the total yearly cost per student of school bus transportation, and are behavior improvers. In addition, seatbelts are now mandated for all small school buses, commercial motor coaches, and cars, and in many school districts, Beechwood, Ohio, for one. 9 states, actually 18% of the states in the U.S., many cities, Denver, Dallas, Indianapolis, and these seatbelts are safety tested, permitted in Ohio school bus specifications. Seatbelts are becoming a safety standard of care for school buses and are very familiar to children from their parents' cars. School districts without seatbelts are gambling that school bus crashes will not injure children and increase their liability for unlimited monetary compensatory damage awards. In summary, the installation of seatbelts is a substantial, recognized, sensible, and critical improvement to school bus safety, and regardless of school bus driver shortages, should be a priority for all of us. This resolution alerts 18 boards of education in Lorain County to consider the risk of children without seatbelts, since the next serious Ohio school bus crash is not a question of if, but of when. And one other comment I'd like to make is if medals are ever given out for saving children's lives on school buses or preventing injuries to children in that as passengers in school buses, I'm going to make it my business to make sure the commissioners get those medals. Any questions?
Well, have you, I got an email from a Judy Converse.
Okay.
Have you talked to her before?
Oh, yes, she was the staff person on the governor's working group.
Right.
So
Oh,
I've
the-
corresponded with her quite a
Okay,
bit.
she's a public information officer on the Ohio Traffic Safety Office.
Right.
She sent us, she saw, you know, she's down in Columbus and saw what we were doing today with our resolution. And she said it's called a full report they have. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called the Ohio School Bus Safety Working Group, issue 17, recommendations / Ohio Traffic Safety Office. Have you
Yeah.
seen those?
Yes, I'm very familiar with that.
They're
and-
saying there's like 60% of our school districts are already, at least have one bus with seatbelts.
Well, actually, what they're talking about are the harnesses that are used for children who are less than 40 pounds.
Okay,
They're not talking about lap shoulder belts, seat belts. That's what I'm talking about.
okay.
I think the question was asked of school districts in Ohio, and I think it was an improper question. The question was, are there seatbelts in school buses? And, you know, in every school bus, in most of the school districts, they'll have a row or two of harnesses, 5-point seatbelts for kids that are less than 40 pounds. But I'm talking about seatbelts for everyone in the school bus with lap shoulder belts, which is really what's needed. These harnesses for small children, the question was asked, are there seatbelts in the school buses? And there are seatbelts in 90%. I agree to that, but they're not lap shoulder belts.
Okay, and you've been doing this for
7 years.
7 years?
Right. I went to the meeting where that was discussed, and, you know, I said my piece, but I think the governor wants to, he started off saying he wanted school buses to be as safe as possible. And what wound up happening was the working group abrogated their responsibility, and instead of mandating seatbelts in school buses or going further, what they decided to do was to give the responsibility for school bus safety back to the school districts, and made recommendations, increase signs, make the school buses more visible. but none of the recommendations that they made would help save the life of Aiden Clark. And that was the whole purpose for that working group, and that
Well, based on the email I got, they said that the work is already underway to establish a grant program. Again,
well,
what does that mean, right?
that would be a step in the right direction.
So
But
does this, what we're doing today, help you with that fight?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
No,
Bless you.
if have questions or-
No, I would just hope that upon passing the resolution, that the school districts in Lorain County would consider at least equipping the buses, and I've talked to you, Rudy, about this, at least the ones that go on field trips and travel around the state at 60, 65, 70 mile an hour, where a crash could be catastrophic.
Absolutely.
And my point of reference is not only, I'm glad you brought it up, that the bus driver has a seatbelt, okay? But in the world I come from, a 250-pound burly, ready-mix concrete truck driver, he wears a seatbelt all day long due to OSHA and PUCO regulations.
Right.
So, you know, if you're going that fast, you should have a seatbelt.
Absolutely. I agree with you completely. If the school districts don't want to equip every bus with seatbelts, well, then the ones that go on the highway, kids flying down the highway at 70 miles an hour without a seatbelt is a disaster waiting to happen, as you mentioned.
But
Yeah,
you've already gone to other communities, correct? You've gotten resolutions like this from,
Yes, I got resolutions from Avon Lake, from Vermillion, Sandusky, and the city of Lorain. And they recommended to their school districts that they do a pilot program where they equip one or two buses with seatbelts and then get the feel of what it's like to have seatbelts in buses, and it, you know, they are behavior improvers, and with that behavior improvement, the school bus driver is not turning around all the time, and he has a better work environment, or she has a better work environment, and with that better environment, you get better retention of school bus drivers, and you have less crashes. And this has been documented, and school
But we
bus
thank you,
drivers.
Rudy, for your diligence and persistence. You
Okay.
should get a medal for both of those.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming today.
Okay. We'll move the seat out of your way.
oh, you had the seat, okay.
And we were going to give you a picture of a seat, but Rudy saw to it we had the real deal.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that in, that wasn't easy.
Yeah. Listening to me.
Okay.
Is there anything further?
Nope.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Under Community Development, 13, approve Housing Research and Advocacy Center, DBA Fair Housing Center for Rights and Research, Cleveland, Ohio, in the amount of $18,000 as a provider of fair housing services in compliance with the Community Development Program grant for program year 23. This is effective retroactive January 1st of 24 through December 31st of 25, and will be paid from the CDBG Program 23 account.
So moved?
Second,
Discussion.
anything you wanna add? Drake, you good? Oh, here, go ahead, pass it. Give him as much airtime as he can get, you know?
Thank you, Commissioners. First, let me start off by saying that I do have someone shadowing me today, Garvin Carrington Matthews. He's the new Community Housing Coordinator for the county, and I thought that it would be good for him to get a chance to see how we do things.
Well, welcome aboard.
The proposal that was received was one of three that communities that were, organizations that were solicited, as well as a general advertisement in the newspaper. And that's the Housing Research and Advocacy Center, doing business as the Fair Housing Center for Rights and Research. They're a 501c3 nonprofit based out of Cleveland, Ohio. Their primary focus is to protect and expand fair housing rights, eliminate housing discrimination, and promote integrated communities. They've been around since 1983. They have just finished up our 2-year program, so that they are approved. This will be the second grant approval. During the first 2-year cycle, they performed more than, for a number of different organizations, but during that time period, they performed a number of housing discrimination tests, they investigated a number of housing complaints, and they did a significant number of housing intakes where complaints were investigated. They are an organization that believes in doing direct advocacy, and also they conducted a number of fair housing situations where they led to complaints being filed, but they really tried to get voluntary compliance in many cases, and they do have lawyers on staff that work with them. The 2-year program would actually entail doing about 10 fair housing law seminars for either federal, state, or local fair housing. They will conduct additional trainings at cost as a part of the agreement that was negotiated. They would also distribute fair housing brochures, both in English and in Spanish, for our area. And they operate a toll-free housing complaint hotline. And then also they do advertise on both local radio and also on television stations as well. And then they do promote outreach and education materials also as assigned. So what we're hoping is that you will consider this. We do believe it's a good deal of work for the money that they would be being paid, $18,000. They are also bringing in a number of additional dollars because they have HUD grants to do certain things, and they're bringing that in as in-kind as well. So hopefully you can support this, and if you have any other questions, I'll try and answer them.
Go ahead.
All good?
Thank you and welcome aboard.
Anything further?
Call for the vote?
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Under the engineer, 14, a decision on an expedite 1 annexation from Pittsfield Township to the City of Oberlin. John D. Clark is the agent for the petitioner, City of Oberlin.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
He's there, if you want to talk to him.
Well, he came out, that's what I thought.
He can't, no. I don't think, there's nothing, is there anything you need to say, John, about this?
No, I
It's
just
pretty
think here,
straightforward.
if you have any questions, happy to answer.
Is there any opposition or is this?
Not that I'm aware of.
I believe it's a single parcel owned by the city that fits within the terms of the annexation agreement the city and the township signed 15 years ago, something like that. So we've looked at the annexation agreement, we've looked at that, so.
Oh, so after 15 years, we're gonna deal with it?
No, there's an existing annexation agreement
Oh,
that
okay.
says the city will not annex certain property.
Oh, okay.
This
Okay.
parcel that the city owns is not within that.
An agreement.
Right.
Oh, okay, sorry, misunderstood you.
So, yeah, just to clarify, there's an annexation agreement, you can call it a revenue sharing agreement. There's a district identified in the agreement whereby the township has agreed to cooperate with all annexations of property within that district, and there's a mechanism for revenue sharing that comes out of that. So this is a parcel that was recently purchased by the city that's located within that district.
Okay, thanks.
Pretty novel idea. Bring your own property under your own control. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 15, award and enter in a contract with Erie Blacktop, Inc. of Sandusky in the amount of $704,755.90 for the Butternut Ridge Road resurfacing project. 6 bids were received on February 27, 24, this being the most responsive complying with specifications. Work consists of planning and resurfacing of Butternut Ridge Road from Oberlin and Larry Road to LaGrange Road. Issue notice to proceed upon full execution of the contract and be completed on or before September 15th to 24. Funds for the work will be provided by the Federal Highway Administration through the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordination Agency in the amount of $563,820.72. Remaining funds in the amount of $104,955.18 will be paid from engineering project account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Riddell?
Aye.
Number 16, award and enter into contract with Erie Blacktop, Inc. of Sandusky in the amount of $346,607.85 for the Lake Avenue resurfacing project. 6 bids received on February 27th, this being the most responsive complying with specifications. Work consists of planning and resurfacing Lake Avenue from Larry Avenue to North Ridge Road. Issue notice to proceed upon full execution of the contract and complete honor before September 15th of '24. Funds for the work will be provided by the Federal Highway Administration through NOACA in the amount of $277,286.28. Remaining funds in the amount of $69,321.57 will be paid from the engineer project account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
17, enter into cooperation agreement by and between Lorain County and Amherst Township for the installation of the street lights as part of the Middle Ridge Road Resurfacing and Safety Improvement Project. CAO, which is County Engineers Association of Ohio, notified federal highway safety funding was approved for this project to upgrade with LED lights to improve the visibility.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Probate 18, amend Resolution 15190 adopted March 25th of 2015, adopting the probate court credit card policy and authorize personnel to utilize Lorain Visa credit card. Said amendments reflect the amount is to not to exceed $12,500 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 301.27.
I'll make a motion to approve for now, and we'll have a discussion. How's that?
There you go, second. Now we're on the floor for discussion.
Okay, Casey. Why 12,500? Everyone comes to us every week for 2,500, 2,500.
His was at 7,500.
Oh, was it at 75? You got in trouble for buying that cow? Maybe need some bigger line of credit or what? Don't do that? Okay. Okay, I didn't know it was even that high, so.
Yeah, this was
So is that,
higher.
do you have a history, I mean, does it justify that? I guess so, you wouldn't be asking, right?
I'll be honest, I do not have that history. This is the first that,
I believe, if I'm thinking of the right thing, he said that they were running into problems getting hotel rooms for people through Veterans Court. Does that sound accurate?
Okay.
So that they were hitting a cap with.
So that's
'cause he runs-
7,500, so we needed, okay.
Yeah, he handles the Veterans Court, and I think that was one of the statements that I saw.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, it says we had issues booking hotel multiple rooms for veterans treatment cards, which can exceed the credit card limit, which is at 7,500. So they
Okay.
asked for 12,500.
Sorry for the joke, Judge. Okay.
Okay.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Question. Do we know that they've got credit card procedures spelled out here, which I appreciate more information rather than less, but do those mirror what we do with the other departments
Yes.
on procedures?
Exactly the same.
Are they the same?
Exactly the same.
Okay.
Every resolution I do, exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Under the Sheriff, 19, accept a capital funding award from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction in the amount of $190,912.18 for the replacement of defective existing central sprinkler institutional sprinklers at Lorain County Correctional Facility. This funding will replace the defective existing sprinklers. That's a mouthful.
Well, you forgot the 25 years in the county.
I guess I should put there
I'll make a
25 years
motion to
rebate.
approve.
I'll second it, and thank you for the non-editorial comment.
Any further discussion?
Yes, and want to remind everybody that, Mr. Sherman stole our thunder, but yes, we're going out to bid immediately on this project, so.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
County Administrator?
I just have one report, Commissioner Moore. During our last meeting, there was some discussion in regards to a $300,000 change order that is on the agenda and approved for the Haven Center. Anybody asked me just to verify that all was well with that, and I did, with the help of Drake, we contacted the Department of Development, and they confirmed that, what was requested and what we approved, fits within their program, and that there is no limit to the amount of a change order on a project. So, just wanted to report that back out for you.
Thank you.
Then Karen and I yesterday continued to meet with our architects, the jail team, to discuss the draft plan for the new jail that hopefully the next several weeks we can come up with a draft and bring it back to the commissioners to discuss and obviously everyone to have an opportunity to take a look at it. But certainly I'm not a jail expert and neither is Karen. But we're with a bunch of jail experts, including the architect, and we certainly are learning through that process and looking at it in a very good way to hopefully bring a plan that we can all look at and bring it forward as we move forward on this project. But during our budgetary hearings, secondly, is when we have a detention center for kids, Actually, I believe it's from 8 to 18 over there, and they don't really use it for anybody under 12, which is kind of shocking to me, I'm quite honestly, when we went through there. And that detention center in 1957 was built. So we walked across the street and had a tour of that, took our whole team over there, the jail team, myself, Karen, and went through with DLC, with that facility. And certainly, I think that there's a lot of discussion as to how we could not bring it over to us, because you have to have separation within that. But if we're going to consider building a jail for the adults, we certainly should look at that as an opportunity in the detention center to not upgrade it. The water boiler that they've got in there was the original in 1957. So they've done a pretty good job keeping it running. So I think that when we get done with our original thought process, coming back to the commissioners and asking probably for a change order for DLC to maybe include that in the process as we try to move forward, because you have those kids over there in a 1957 facility. As to what you see, they've done a pretty darn good job of it. They've got a great operation over there, but still, it is certainly not where it should be in 2024. That completes my report.
What's the time frame? Because we have a window. I'll wake up.
I'm here, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying
I
to
know.
multitask, but yeah, I hear you.
I know. We're gonna need, if we're going to, we have to have debates in regards to how we're gonna pay for this. And if it involves anything to be on the ballot in November, we're gonna have to have this information. Oh, okay, Jeff, you see where I'm going?
I know where you're going, and we should be able to complete this part of it and get back to everyone in April.
In April? Okay, good.
I'm
That should be
I'm
enough
trying to
time.
remember when we need to
I think
get
we need like 3.
We need I think we need 3 public hearings. I'm
Correct.
trying to figure out when we need to get it set for the ballot, and I don't, do you know off the top of your
I
head?
think it's usually before, what, August?
I would say late July?
No, yeah, well,
It
I'm trying to
is
remember.
August 6th or so. I didn't bring my calendar, but I think it's August 6th.
that's
But
the path we're going. don't
we
know
need
where
to
we're at.
move back at least a couple weeks because it's got to go to the state, depending on what kind of levy or tax or whatever you're
Yeah, I
gonna do.
need
It
to
all
get the language
depends on all that.
approved.
And the language is a big issue,
Yeah.
depending on which way we want to go. So we need at least a month prior to
I
figure
know
this
that
out.
Jeff, I know Mr. Arbich doesn't believe this, but I probably need more than 6 or 7 hours to draft the language when it comes right down to it, so I'd like to book in some time for that.
That's
too,
kind of why I
perhaps.
gave you a call the other day.
Well, that sounds like enough time, as long as you have it
6 or
completed.
7 hours, that's one staff meeting for Jeff.
But if we can, as long as you know you can get to us in end of April, then we got more than enough time
Yeah.
to have the public debate.
Neither Carol and I, and either the team that's working on this, feel as though that's not, we're gonna make that goal. So, we saw some drawings and actual schematics of what it is as a draft, and we played around, not played around. We worked with that schematic all morning until noon or 12:30, and we made changes within that, within the team. So I think we got 2 more meetings. In 2 weeks, we're gonna be meeting again on the 9th of April. Then we're gonna hopefully complete it on the following 2 weeks from that. So we'll have it done by April. There's no question.
Well, it's just the quicker, because yesterday I had the lieutenant governor in town, and we had a couple of meetings with mayors on the east side and the west side. And one of the things that came up around the west side is, I brought it up, I'm always asking for money from these guys, is there's only $50 million down there that they're earmarked for jails. And there's 88 counties, so it looks like we're way ahead of the curve here by we're ready, we've already paid the money for the architectural design. You'll do the process, and, again, I'm always looking for partnerships, and I'm hoping, I kind of told them, I said, we're gonna be coming to you, this fall, and I want a large percentage of it, so we'll see.
And quite honestly, I don't think that the detention piece of it, if we bring them across the street, there's only right now 3 young ladies over there and 20 individuals. And our judges have done such a wonderful job with the kids and placing them other places and put them in the detention home, that a shout out to them as to how they've handled it in Lorain County. And they're really not looking for an increase in size from that, so we don't need a large facility. We just need one that meets the criteria to take care of these kids. So I don't see that.
Well, they just can't be attached to a jail, right? So can't they have the same Sally Port?
No.
Oh, they can't? Okay, I was hoping we
You
could.
can have a different type of salad port, so this isn't gonna, the cost is not gonna increase it that dramatically, because we're only looking at 30 probably.
30
total.
beds.
30
Okay.
beds. And not stacked, they're individual cells. There's,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you're right, sight and sound, we're learning the
Sound
terms.
separation, yeah.
Well, I appreciate the speed you guys are going at to get
To
this.
go ahead and put a little more definition, the goal is by the end of April to have schematics, rendering, and the approximate budget.
The rendering, I think we'll have a rendering, but we'll know what the inside looks like. I'm not sure, we haven't really looked at the outside. We're doing the inside, how it works.
Well, I just think the public, if we're gonna ask them to help out, I wanna make sure that we're not building a Holiday Inn, okay? Cause I don't think we're gonna get the support, so I think if we could be full disclosures, show everybody this is what we're building, this is what we need help with, and whatever we come up with on how to pay for it, I think, it just needs to be part of the discussion, so.
Yeah, and I think we should be talking to the architect. My understanding was that they were gonna be working on the shell materials so that they could establish that, as you guys do the floor plan with them, we've got a budget in mind, but if we're gonna go to the voters, I think they need to, whatever the vehicle is, they need to see the budget, and they need to see that it's not a Taj Mahal, that it's a very functional building, and a commitment from them on the schematics and the shell means we could hold their feet to the fire to the budget. And it doesn't sound like the detention home piece should delay that. So kudos to trying to encapsulate that into the project.
Like, I wanted to, if you saw me, I was stopping, Mr. Rob Duncan, our director from Lorain County Development, Community Development. I just was gonna acknowledge a shout out since you got invited to the State of the Union last Thursday. And, just kinda, you did Lorain County proud by showing up and not yelling and getting kicked out, so. So, I just wanted to acknowledge you, if you were trying to sneak out there, that's why I stopped you, so. Okay, I'll see you, yeah, no, that's more important, go ahead. Thanks again. I just wanted to give you a little shout out. You already got the front page story, I saw, so.
I have nothing, board correspondence,
Move to waive the reading.
Move, second?
discussion, Commissioner Moore,
I
Commissioner Rendell.
Aye.
Is there any new business?
had that there, so I already said it, so.
Oh, okay.
Any new business, Commissioner?
No public comment?
Is there any public comment?
And we did not have any public comment outside the agenda today, so
We're done.
we are done. We are adjourned.
Sign those now. Thank you.
Victor, you can shut down the mics.